So here's why Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. He had the pressure of already having two predecessors who were amazing in their own right. Although Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a response to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and same with Andrew Garfield in response to Tobey's Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was basically just a rehash of what they were trying to do again, but worse, right? So, like, the story, it's pretty much just the same thing. It's pretty much just them trying to show Peter Parker and telling them, like, oh, this is the story you'd never seen. But it is a story that you have seen. Whereas Tom's Spider-Man, he already had the freedom of not having to do another origin story, and he came into Captain America Civil War and showing off that, oh, he's already, like, an amazing Peter Parker. And then he had his own film with Spider-Man Homecoming, dealing with the fact that he has to make sure that he can balance the life of being Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And you know what? It might be just as good as how Tobey Maguire did it in Spider-Man 2. And then he had more responsibilities to come with after Tony Stark's death, right? Giving off Mysterio's glass, or the glasses to Mysterio was, of course it's a terrible choice, but, like, he always has to learn from his consequences. Like, whenever he chose to be Spider-Man and he learned, or he denied the fact that he was being Spider-Man to Tony Stark, saying that he was at band practice. No, like, he genuinely tried to save people, and he realized that he failed. So, he's a Spider-Man that has failed a lot. He tried to help the villains in No Way Home, and then the villains, and that ended up in losing his Aunt May. So, he's dealt with a lot of loss because of what he's been trying to do. And that's why Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, because of the fact that he has had the best character arc than the last two. And he's also had the best stories. So
now that I heard everything and why you defended him, I want to know why you don't choose him to be your favorite, right?
No.
Why?
There are a lot of good things about Tom, although I feel like Tobey Spider-Man just has so many better qualities.
So your favorite actually is Tobey?
Yeah, my favorite is Tobey, and then it goes Tom, and then Andrew.
Why is the last?
Only if Andrew had better movies.
Okay,
that's
I agree.
it.
I agree. Yeah. I feel like that's the only thing. Okay, I'll start my debate then.
Okay,
I'm ready.
2 minutes starts.
Wait. Okay.
Right now.
Okay. So I heard that you said that your only thing about Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man, the only thing that's just not doing it for you is the movies themselves. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like, okay, we take that aside because you mentioned it before. Great actor. He had pretty great content. It's just like the movies itself, they weren't the best, I will admit. They weren't the ones that were hinging me on my seat, but I feel like himself, Andrew Garfield himself, really pulled Spider-Man together for me. He just did so good. As a character, as an actor, I feel like he just made it believable to me. Or like a good balance of Tobey Maguire and a good balance of Tom Holland. He's like the middleman. So I guess you can say I am picking him because he is the middleman, but even then it's like a good medium. Another thing, how much time do I have left? Another thing is the trauma that but his Spider-Man specifically endured in his movies. Like losing the love of his life, and then it coming back together in the most recent movie, where they all came into the same universe, and him kind of having to compare himself to all the other Spider-Mans really did it for me. Like, am I not good enough? Do I suck? Like, him doing that kind of brought, like, realism into how people actually thought about him when it came to Spider-Man, but he was just trying to do his best to portray what he was supposed to with the content he was given. But obviously, I'm not saying that he's necessarily, like, because they're even for me. I'm going to be honest, they're equal to me. But, like, Andrew Garfield, he deserves the hype that he's been getting recently because he didn't get it back then. Especially now that people are seeing him, like, as an actual actor. He does pretty good. Also, I like his Spider-Man a lot. He's cute. That's it. That's all I have. I have 4 seconds. I don't know what else. I kind of just stated everything I wanted to do, but, like...
Oh. I actually do agree. Like, he got a lot of criticisms back then.
He got a lot of criticism, and it felt like he had a lot of stuff on his, like, not a lot of, he had a lot of pressure on his shoulders already with Tobey, and they're like, oh, look at this guy trying to be Spider-Man, and he took it really well.
Because there's nothing you could have controlled whenever it was like that, you know? So now we will get 4 minutes of, like, genuine debating.
Genuine debating.
Yeah, it's more about, like, who can bring up the
The
better
most?
points. The better points. And
I'm
like,
not good at that.
defend
I didn't
yourself.
study. I didn't do my research.
You have to.
I had to have done my research. I didn't.
Your research was watching the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, but that's not enough for me. I had to have like dove deep into like everything. Like, oh, which one's more relatable to the comics? And
3, 2, 1. All right. So you think that Andrew Garfield, of course, like he lost the love of his life, whereas Tom, he's lost everyone else.
That's
He's lost
true.
his mentor. He's lost Aunt May, and he's lost his respect at school. And guess what?
What?
He lost his friends at the end of the film.
You're right.
Right?
You were so right.
So he's endured a lot more than Andrew has.
That's true, but also, you know, you have to think about the different universes and how it's going to affect them when they get back. Did you even think about what's going to happen after the last movie? How their lives are going to change when they go back to their universe? It's not going to go back the same. Or isn't there a theory about how like things are going to change for them? For all of them.
Okay, but what about Andrew Garfield being a good Spider-Man and being the best Spider-Man?
Okay. You know what? You might be a hater. But I think he embodies the teenage angst really well, actually.
But he wasn't a teenager.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, but in No Way Home, he was already an adult who's just like dumpster diving.
That's true because of all that criticism and struggle.
But then even in the first movie, he was already about to graduate anyway.
That's true.
Or second movie, he graduated.
Okay.
Right? But like first movie, he was getting picked on whenever he doesn't even look like a boy that usually gets picked on. Like,
you're not gonna bring up that point, are you? You're really gonna bring up that he's like an attractive nerd person?
Yeah, he's an attractive nerd person.
Can be attractive.
Like, yeah, but he was getting picked on, right?
Yeah.
And then he was being a bully to Flash. Spider-Man isn't a bully.
Gosh,
Peter Parker isn't a bully.
Hey.
Do you remember the basketball scene? Huh? you remember the basketball scene? You think that embodies Peter Parker and who he really is?
I literally hate you.
You remember the fact that he literally became Spider-Man to get revenge on Uncle Ben's murder?
Yeah.
Spider-Man,
wouldn't you want revenge if somebody killed your uncle that you've been living with and that raised you?
But this is Peter Parker, and then he was like tracking down
that
robber.
That doesn't count because even Tom Holland tried getting revenge for Aunt May's death at the most current movie.
Okay.
And guess who stopped him? Not
Toby.
Andrew, but it was Toby. Yeah, I
Right?
was like, not Andrew, but it was
Right?
Toby. But revenge is just a thing that every Spider-Man has endured, period.
Yeah,
so that's
same with
not
Toby.
part. That's
Same
not
with
part of
Toby.
the. That's debunked.
Okay.
All of them had revenge in their blood.
Okay.
It's how they overcome the revenge.
What about in the beginning of the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Okay.
Do you remember the Rhino guy?
Yeah,
Right?
what about
The
him?
Russian guy?
What about him?
So whenever Peter was stopping him,
Okay.
he literally just like started making jokes and all these quips whenever the truck was literally hitting a bunch of other cars and like ruining the city.
Hey, he was trying to keep a positive environment for everyone around him. Okay?
But everyone else was dying. Everyone else was getting crushed.
Okay, what was Tom Holland doing? He made the wish for his own benefits.
How so?
How so? I don't know.
What wish?
His wish about how he doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore.
What do you mean he doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore? He's
What is
always
it?
wanted to be Spider-Man.
What is it? I'm
No,
sorry.
the wish with the Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
He was saying that he wants his name wiped out.
Yeah.
Right? And then he realized that everyone else found out that he was Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
And then in the end, what decision did he make?
He made a very selfless decision. In
You-
order to save
selfless?
in order to save the world, he realized that everyone had to forget him, and that is a terrible thing to happen to Peter Parker. Right?
Okay, fine, whatever. You have a point on that. 30 seconds. Okay, but did he really have to make that decision for everything to go back to normal?
Yes.
Why?
Well, that was the only option at the time, and he was under pressure because of the fact that things were starting to pop up in the sky. And then he realized that, yeah. And then he realized
Things are
that,
just falling.
look, he's going to have to start talking to Doctor Strange and then make sure that he's going to wipe out everything that he tried to do before. And then he realized that, you know what?
10 seconds to finish
I made
this.
a mistake there, and he always fixes mistakes. Did Andrew always fix his mistakes? No.
No.
Did he bring Gwen Stacy back? No.
No, but he lived.
I'm kidding, no. He can't do that.
Stop. I was like, but he moved on. He moved past that. That was fun. You should do these more often.
Oh,
I feel like I could get heated.